as you don't need an account to sign in, or you don't need an account to join a call, I should say, and you don't even necessarily need the application on your computer. You can just click the link and you're just good to go. If you're a family that uses Apple products, FaceTime is a great option, just in the sense that you can directly call the person's iPhone or tablet. Android or Google users, you could use Google Meet, and which works very similar to Zoom.
In addition to that, we're also joined by Sean O'Donnell, the Deputy Chief of Public Health Services, as well as our County Health Officer, Dr. Keisha Davis. Reporters, make sure that if you have any questions that you raise your hand so we'll be able to recognize you, and make sure that you hold your questions until notified when we're about to do that portion of the piece. So we'll hand it over to the county executive to do his introduction. Good afternoon, Mr. County Executive.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thank you for joining us. And before we talk about Montgomery County, I did want to note the passing of former President Jimmy Carter. He certainly left an indelible mark on the world, and President Carter was kind of like the last of his kind, a liberal Democrat who saw that FDR's New Deal policies worked in rural areas as well as elsewhere. He was also our first eco-conscious president and ahead of his time in giving us and urging us to live sustainability and recognize the need to take care of the world that we share. But what stands out most about former President Carter is how he grew with time. His presidency was just the beginning of his legacy. As a humanitarian and peacemaker, his post-presidential years were extraordinary, from advancing peace efforts around the globe to building homes through Habitat for Humanity. President Carter actually led by example. His work with Habitat, another important organization, helped to house millions of people across the globe and to fight basic diseases, embodying his belief that everybody deserves dignity, good health, and shelter. In 2007, in an interview with Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times, when they were in Ethiopia together, he said, quote, "I think there's a human right to live a decent life, to have a home in which to sleep at night, to be free of preventable diseases, to have a modicum of education, and to have some human self-respect, some hope that the future will be better than the past has been. Those are all human rights," unquote. President Carter's life reminds us leadership is not bound by titles or terms. It's about making the world better every day in every way we can. And I believe his legislation is going to continue to inspire people for generations to come. I want to talk a little bit about New Year's Eve. As we approach New Year's Eve, I want to start by wishing all of you a happy and healthy New Year. Tonight is a time for celebration, but please be responsible and safe. I want to encourage everyone out celebrating to plan ahead by not combining driving with drinking or using cannabis. Every year in Maryland, more than 10,000 people are arrested for driving under the influence. Over the past 5 years, crashes involving impaired drivers have tragically claimed the lives of more than 800 people in our state. The consequences of a DUI are serious, including jail time, significant fines, license points, mandatory ignition interlock, and license suspension, even for first-time offenses. Everyone should either designate a sober driver or arrange another way home. Public transportation will be an option, with Ride-On operating on a normal schedule on New Year's Eve and on a Sunday schedule for the holiday. And Metro will be free from 8 p.m. to closing tonight, which is 2 a.m. on New Year's Eve. Taxis and rideshare apps are also two other alternatives. So keep that in mind as you go out tonight to enjoy yourself. I'll talk a little bit about public safety as we reflect on 2024. I want to highlight some of the progress we've made this year. I want to thank our Montgomery County Police Department. And I'm pleased to see that the crime statistics are pretty much down across the board. Overall, crimes decreased by about 7%. Property crimes are also down 6%. Motor vehicle thefts have dropped by 15%, and carjackings have seen 43% reductions. Homicides have also fallen significantly, with only 19 this year, down from 29 in 2023. Shootings are also down 19%. We're really proud of our strong leadership team and their work to use innovation to help address crime. This year, we had a seamless transition from Chief Marcus Jones to Chief Mark Yamada as we continue to focus on addressing public safety challenges while building trust with our communities. Chief Yamada's had a successful start, and I look forward to his continued leadership. One of the chiefs and my biggest concerns is staffing levels. We're also working to ensure MCPD is prepared for the future. Currently, we have 166 sworn officer positions vacant and a wave of anticipated retirements facing us in 2025. To address this, we've increased officer pay, introduced a $20,000 signing bonus, and hired a firm to assist with recruitment. We're also working to address other impediments to our recruitment, including past cannabis use. Interestingly, past cannabis use is not a consideration in Virginia. So officers who can't work in Montgomery County go across the river to Fairfax County, where they can work. We sent a letter to the governor and look forward to discussing it with the Maryland Police Training and Standards Commission in January. So thus far, this group has opposed making the changes that we need. We're also talking with our union leaders about other possible changes that might expand our options for filling vacancies. In addition to staffing efforts, we're embracing new technology, including our Drone as a First Responder program. This program has improved response times and helped thwart crimes in Silver Spring and Wheaton, and earlier this fall, we expanded it to Gaithersburg and Montgomery Village. Finally, I want to remind everyone of our new hate bias incidents reporting portal, which will be launched earlier this month. I hope we can continue to promote this new tool. Hate bias incidents have no place in Montgomery County, and reporting them helps us to take action. The portal is easy to use, anonymous, and available in multiple languages. Chief Yamada is not available today, but I'd like to welcome Assistant Chief Dave McBain and Lieutenant Sun Young Kim to this week's media briefing. Thank you both for being here and to provide more insights on MCPD's work and priorities for 2025. So I'll start with you, Chief McBain.
Thank you very much, County Executive. I think you said it best when you said for people going out tonight to be responsible and safe, and that's all we're asking people to do. I wanted to talk about a few things about what's out there, what we have on the road tonight to make it a safer Montgomery County. For the past 6 weeks, we've been running the Holiday Task Force, which is units comprised of Montgomery County police officers, but also our partner agencies in the region, Gaithersburg City, Maryland Police, Tacoma Park, and Maryland National Capital Park Police. Every single night for the last 6 weeks, or at least 5 nights a week for the last 6 weeks, an average of 12 of those officers have gone out into our community with a focus on DUI enforcement. And in that 6 weeks, they've made 189 DUI and DUID, or driving while under the influence of a drug arrest. Basically, it was predominantly alcohol related, with about 4 or 5 individuals arrested for driving while under the influence of drugs. Just to give a little comparison, last year at this time, we were only at 111 DUI arrests. So we've seen 78 more DUIs arrested this year. It's a kind of a double-edged number. In one respect, I'm extremely happy with the work that our officers are doing. But in another respect, we have a lot of people out there that are not taking our recommendations and your recommendations to be responsible. So tonight is going to be no different. We will be out there. The Holiday Task Force will be on the road working throughout the entire county with this emphasis on DUI. And also, we've called in additional units to work in other locations in the county to just put more officers on the street, keeping our. So what we're saying is something we've said for many years, is when you're preparing for the night, don't prepare just to get to the location to have fun. Make sure that your preparations are for the return trip. And if you find yourself in a pinch and you need to get home and you can't operate a vehicle safely, remember that you have options like cabs and Uber, Lyft, and other programs like that. And this year, like many years in the past, the Washington Regional Alcohol Program, WRAP, is sponsored and working with Lyft to provide a free ride home up to $15 for your ride home anywhere between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. tonight. So if you find yourself in a position where you need a ride, you can use your app to go to the Lyft app and get a ride home. So be safe, have fun, but be smart. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I think
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to
Sun Young. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Elrich. I appreciate your invitation to have me here. As County Executive has mentioned, this is our preliminary numbers for 2024, but in many categories, our crimes are down compared to 2023. But in addition to that, I wanted to highlight some of the other statistics that's worthy of mentioning is that reference our homicide. We have so far in 2024, 84% closure rate. And that's for 2 years in a row, we have maintained an above 80% closure rate, which is well above the national average reported by DOJ. And that is thanks to our dedicated and well-trained, well-experienced detectives, as well as obviously the collaboration we have with the State's Attorney's Office, as well as our community. We get the tips, we get the information that is necessary for detectives to work diligently to solve these crimes. And they make it a top priority. As far as the carjacking, 43% down reduction compared to 2023 so far is a great number, but I also wanted to highlight the fact that that's the lowest number for the last 4 years. In 2021, we saw a 3-year trend of increasing in carjacking incidents, and this year is the first year we have seen a reduction. And so far, 2024 numbers are lower than 2021 numbers. So I definitely wanted to highlight that. We saw, again, 2023 was the highest number that we've seen with auto theft, but we were able to do a lot of efforts, and those are down. These are all, again, dedicated to the proactive police officers out on the road, doing their jobs, as well as with the advancement of expanding our technology, especially with the license plate readers, as well as our auto crimes and enforcement detectives targeting repeat offenders of auto theft and carjacking crimes as well. So again, so far we're doing a great in 2024, and we hope that these trends will continue for 2025 as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Chief McBain and Lieutenant Kim. Media, if you have any questions for our guest, now would be the time to raise your hand. And I see quickly we have a hand from Brad Bell.
Hey there. First thing, bookkeeping. Can you authorize me to record so I can record this on my computer?
Please click on the record tab.
Still, no, won't let me.
Okay.
Okay, now we got it. Okay, got it. Thank you all. Mr. County Executive, what do you make of these numbers, right? I mean, I've been tracking the crime numbers across the region, and we're seeing these good declines with carjacking, with auto theft. You think it's pandemic related? Anything else? Just, what do you make of these numbers?
The numbers are good, but I'm not a big fan of declaring victory. Numbers are still too high. 19 is still too many homicides. There's still too many carjackings. So we've got work to do, but I think, our folks have been doing, I think, a really good job. I think some of the enhancements that we have in place from the license plate readers to the more aggressive use of cameras in hotspot areas, along with the drones, at least they're sending a signal that we're not an easy mark, and that, the county's serious about protecting its citizens. And I do think that people will go to places where it's easier to do wrong things than pick on a place where it's going to be more difficult. And that's part of what our strategy has been, to be very clear and open about what we're doing to try to suppress this. And so I'm really pleased working with the department and with the council's support for the technology that we've been able to do that. I think there are probably some other economic factors. We have gotten, farther beyond COVID. People's lives may be coming back to them in a better sense than before. It's hard to read that, but I'm just happy the numbers we're ending a year, we can actually say the numbers are down. It's progress, and we're just going to keep making progress.
Right. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Susan Pollock, next question.
Hi, thank you, and Happy New Year, everyone. I just wondered if, in light of different issues in terms of staffing issues and everything, if you want to talk about some of the mental health issues, considering what happened yesterday in Bethesda, if what officers can do, or how intense a problem is this? Is it rare, or is it pretty common?
I guess I'd ask Mr. McBain or Lieutenant Kim to give their feeling. They're more attuned to that than I am. I mean, we have programs. We've enhanced our programs to provide assistance to officers. We well recognize the challenges that public safety people face in terms of mental health. It is clearly a more stressful job than any of us on this phone call, except for the two people in the department, actually face. And it's a lot of stress and a lot of challenges. And, it takes its toll on people. And, the mental health of officers is recognized not just in Montgomery as a Montgomery County issue, but it's a national issue. So, we try to put the programs in place to help people. But if, either Lieutenant Kim or Chief McBain would like to add to that, please feel free.
Yeah. So I'll follow up. We have a lot of avenues of support for our officers, not only peer support from within the agency, but we have doctors with the county where our officers can get the help that they need. Clearly, I think that this is officers dealing with things that everyone else deals with has always been around. We're doing a lot better job at identifying officers that are having issues and trying to work with them to get help and get healthy, to get back on the street. We obviously want officers that are responding to calls for service to be at their top game. And so we do a good job about identifying issues as they arise and providing support, not only through the county OMS system, but also with training of our supervisors to identify when they see issues with officers. So we have a really good support system that we currently work with. Something to keep in mind, I think the county executive has said this before, in a lifetime, generally people see maybe one or two or very few traumatic incidents, where police officers in their career will see upwards of 800 to 900 traumatic incidents. So it's our job to make sure that as they kind of, continue on their career, that we monitor those interactions and make sure that they're in the right frame of mind and are healthy, not only physically, but mentally.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Kim, any closing words to that question?
No, I think our Chief McBain said it perfectly. It is definitely a topic that is very true to our department, that we collaborate strongly with our FOP as well to ensure the safety and well-being of our officers. And the last several years, as Chief McBain mentioned, it is a topic that's been trained on and discussed with everybody for multiple years beyond what is quote unquote mandatory, just because of the dedication we have for everybody's welfare.
Well, thank you both for joining today. Are there any other questions? I didn't see another hand.
I didn't see any either.
All right.
Another question. It looks like another question from Brad.
Well, just logistics. It did not allow me to record. So how quickly will your recording of this pop up so we can put it on the air?
It's on YouTube now. We can also send you a file as well.
Thank you. Mr. Sherwood. Merry Happy New Year.
Looks like we have a question from Tom Sherwood.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
Happy New Year to everyone. Be safe again tonight.
Yeah.
My son's in the liquor business, and he brought me a nice bottle of rum from South America, so I'll be home safely. No, my
Dark or light?
It's dark. 2003.
Over 90 proof? Under
Yeah.
151?
I didn't look at the proof, Mr. County Executive, but I'll check it out for you.
What time should we be there, Tom?
My door's locked. No, solitude. Mr. County Executive, thank you very much for what you were just talking about crime. You know, that's been a regional issue.
Yeah.
Last night at 10 o'clock, just a few minutes before 10, Mayor Muriel Bowser, who's had her own crime issues, announced that she had met with President Trump. She didn't say where, but we believe it was in Mar-a-Lago. And she said they talked about all kinds of things. But in what she said, though, in her short announcement, she didn't mention crime. I'm just wondering, I doubt that you've asked for a meeting with President Trump, but what would you say to him if you had such a meeting?
You know, I don't think the federal government plays the kind of role it should play in doing things that make societies more stable. You've got too many people without incomes or without adequate incomes. You've got schools that don't have the funds they need. And, you know, when schools don't function well, the kids that come out of those schools often don't function well. There are a lot of places where the federal government could play a role in strengthening communities and strengthening the people who live in these communities. And it would be nice if he'd think about that. I mean, my concern is what we're going to see is a lot of corporate welfare, you know, a lot more money going to people who don't need a lot more money, and more stress on lower income households. You know, there's some of the stuff they've talked about with affordable housing indicates actually less investment in affordable housing. That's a good way to guarantee the instability of a community. I just wish he would take a broader look and focus on actual governing.
Federal jobs?
Federal jobs, and well, that's a whole other can of worms for us. I mean, if he does the things he's talked about, you know, getting rid of the education agency, you know, cutting departments, whole parts of departments that he doesn't like, a lot of Montgomery County residents work in those departments. That could lead to a lot of unemployment. It's not like these folks can go out and get another job in the same line of work. They've got mortgages that would be hard to support with that income. So it could cause real hardship for the county. And of course, you know, if our tax revenue is down, that's the thing about employing people, whether government workers or not. The money they spend gets recirculated through the economy. And before he goes butchering a bunch of jobs, he ought to think about what the effect on the economy, both local and nationally, is going to be, because it will not be good.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And again, all good wishes. Happy New Year to everyone, except the other reporters on this broadcast. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, are you a reporter still?
I am an analyst. I get to say what I think as opposed to what others think.
Sorry.
I like that about you. And you do.
We do have a question from Adam Tusk, but Adam, before is your question regarding public safety? Because if you could wait, we'll finish out this piece and then we'll have you hold your question till then.
I can wait. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you for being on today, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Other things happening in the world. This Friday, the 119th Congress is going to be sworn in. I wanted to take a moment to recognize the contributions and changes ahead. We thank Senator Ben Cardin for his decades of public service and welcome Senator-elect Angela Alsobrooks, whose historic election is a milestone in Maryland. I also want to welcome April McLean Delaney as a new Congress member joining the county's congressional delegation. And I, just make a side comment. I mean, one of the nice things about Maryland is we can elect people of color and women to the highest offices in this state. And this state seems to be basically comfortable with that. And just a nice thing to say about, Maryland and the kind of population we have in Maryland, that we can talk about this and just recognize that's a true thing that happens here. I also want to commend Representative Jamie Raskin on his new role as ranking House member of the House Judiciary Committee. His leadership will be crucial in ensuring the income administration adheres to the laws and Constitution of this nation. And with the Republicans now leading the House and the Senate, we must prepare for the challenges this shift may bring, from potential impacts on federal funding to policies critical to Montgomery County, like addressing climate change and promoting equity. We're also concerned about the threats made about mass deportation, which would have devastating effects on families, businesses, and on the community at large. As always, we'll continue advocating for our residents and our shared values. As we wrap up, I want to remind people who've made New Year's resolutions to get in better shape. Our county's recreation centers are now offering free gym access for the third year in a row. This has been a change we brought about 3 years ago, and I'm really proud that this will be the third year in which our rec centers, our gyms are open to the public. And I hope people take advantage of it. At times I've been up to Wheaton and I see a lot of people in the gym. That's a good thing. My own personal resolution is to try to fit more exercise into my weekly routines. That's not always an easy thing to do, but it's something that I have to do probably like everybody else has to do. So that's a project I'm going to start on. If residents want to incorporate sustainable habits into your daily routines, the Department of Environmental Protection has great waste management tips, including new composting options at county's farmer markets. And those who normally rely on their own vehicles for transportation can also make a climate-friendly choice and use our Ride On Trip Planner app to take public transit. In the coming year, we look forward to helping all of us live our better lives. So I just want to thank everybody for joining me today. I hope you have a great New Year's. I hope the holiday's been good to you. And I'll now turn it over to our HHS team for any updates before we get to your questions. Sean, I guess it's yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. County Executive. Just a really brief update on our respiratory diseases. We are seeing still some high levels of hospitalizations for our really, really young ones who might have RSV. Otherwise, we're starting to see outpatient visits go up for influenza, which is not unexpected at this time of year. I just wanted to share a little perspective too. I just got numbers this morning from the state. Our COVID hospitalizations across the state have gone from 69 2 weeks ago to 147 this week. So again, not unexpected that we see those illnesses go up. I want to share, though, I said 147 COVID hospitalizations this year. This time last year in the state, there were 452. In 2022, there were 783. So we've really, really come down with those serious COVID illnesses. In Montgomery County, we're at 16 COVID hospitalizations. Last year, we were at 72. And in 2022, we were at 176. So again, we'd like to see these numbers continue to come down, and we really appreciate everything people have been doing to try to protect themselves and their family and friends as we go through the holidays. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. It's good to see COVID where it is. We appreciate all the efforts that have been put into place, and especially the vaccinations that people have gotten. I do want to add just a brief reminder and appreciate Assistant Chief McBain being on to talk about making a plan for safe driving, so avoiding drunk driving. And I do want to just put out a little public service reminder about the effects of alcohol. We all know about alcohol intoxication and the risks that associated with that in terms of drunk driving. I also want to remind folks about alcohol poisoning, which is consuming a large amount of alcohol in a brief period of time, which can result in seizures, vomiting, slow breathing, and even loss of consciousness. This is a serious medical emergency. You don't want to allow a friend to just sleep it off. If you think they might be having alcohol poisoning, you want to call 911, get them to a medical facility. And so watch out for that. Nobody should be experiencing alcohol poisoning, even on New Year's Eve. So as was mentioned earlier, make a plan to get there, make a safe plan to get home, take advantage of safe rides. We hope everybody has a healthy and safe 2025. Turn it back to you, Mr. County Executive.
All right.
I guess hand it over to Barry for questions.
Yeah. Do we have any questions from the media? Adam, your turn now.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. County Executive, I just wonder if you could comment on this report about the Purple Line cost ballooning. Sorry if you've already addressed it. I came in kind of late. specifically the Bethesda station, where it looks like, projections have gone from $2 million for a station platform to 50 million, just exorbitant, cost getting kind of doubled and tripled here.
Yeah, it's more than a little bit aggravating. I mean, we're pulled into this project and we get, working with Metro, we're told this thing's going to cost us $2 million. And, it's another 50 on top of whatever else it was. There have been more mistakes made. And this all goes back to the previous governor. This is his doing. It's one of the most mismanaged projects ever. He left the state completely vulnerable to his first partner, because instead of having a contract where you would settle things by binding arbitration, he had a contract where if the other partner was unhappy, they could walk away from it. Walking away from a giant construction problem means that the company that started it is no longer liable, and the company that takes it on has to assume liability, make sure everything fits in, and it makes everything cost more than you thought it should cost. And this will probably wind up being the most expensive per mile light rail project in the world. When we used to talk about light rail projects, it's a fraction of what they're talking about here. And it's just really disturbing. It's going to be very expensive. And I still question some of the decisions they made in construction that'll make it more difficult for everybody else to navigate the roads than it should be. And it looks like, we're still, what is it? This is going to be 25, so probably about 3 years out from its operation. It's been way too long and way too much money.
And is it county taxpayers who are going to have to make up the difference?
Of course. I mean, because Metro's not going to pay for that second entrance, and so we're going to have to pay for the premium price for this second entrance. I even questioned whether it was needed, since you only have to walk a couple of blocks to get into the main entrance to Metro. This is just a little thing that was added to the project. I will say, if this were in Virginia, entrances like this would be paid for by the surrounding development community. It would not be shoved on county taxpayers, but this one is going to be shoved on county taxpayers. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions for the county executive? I don't see any. Guess everyone's ready to go and get ready for tonight's festivities. Okay, so thank you very much for being here today on behalf of the county executive. We want to wish all of you who are here a happy new year and a safe transition into 2025 on behalf of the county executive. We'll see you back here next week for another session of our weekly media briefing. So happy new year to everyone, and please be safe tonight.
Everybody be well. Take care.